Hello and welcome to Songs for the Struggling Artist, the blogcast. This is episode 490. My name is Emily Rainbow Davis. Hello, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Today's blog is about credulity and scams and people who are credulous and people who are scammed. So I'm going to read that to you in just a moment, and then I'm going to sing you a song, and that's how this works. And we are only 10 episodes away from 500. Anybody have any ideas about what I should do on the 500th episode? I have none, but if you have some, I'd love to hear them. Anyway, here it is. This one is called The Credulous and the Scammed. One thing I've learned about scammers through the many podcasts I've listened to on the subject is that they know a lot of their scams are not believable. They know, most of us know, that the Prince of Nigeria has not emailed us to help him look after his fortune. They do this on purpose because they don't want to scam everyone. They're looking for the most credulous people they can find, and the Prince of Nigeria acts as a filter. They don't want to scam anyone who's going to ask too many questions. They make these things hard to believe on purpose. They want only the extremely credulous. I was thinking about this recently because a very distant relative posted that Facebook is going to own your photos scam on their page a few days ago. This has been going around Facebook since 2012 and has been certified false in multiple publications, multiple times. It has been disproved over and over again, and yet here in 2026, 14 years later, people are still posting it. It's not a Nigerian prince scam, but it is a very clear marker of credulity that a predatory scammer might make use of. It's not harmless. I'm not saying anyone who fell for this is generally credulous, but falling for it in 2026, after 14 years of debunking, feels pretty credulous. On my relative's post, I added the Forbes debunking of it from 2 years ago and moved on. From what I know of this distant relative, I think they may have some Trumpy politics. They're a little quiet about it, maybe a little embarrassed, and maybe not entirely convinced, but I have my suspicions. And I started to think that this credulity and Trumpy politics might just go hand in hand. It occurs to me that Trump is a con man. He's always been a con man. He's been conning his way through the world all this time. Most New Yorkers, being used to this particular kind of con man, have been hip to the con for decades. Anyone with a hint of skepticism will see through his cons. We all know he's running a scam. We would not buy a Trump meme coin. We know that that is a scam. But credulous people can't see it. They believe it when a Nigerian prince offers them millions, and they believe it when Trump tells them he's going to do something for them. They're being scammed. We know it. They don't. Our current local con man, Eric Adams, the former mayor, after being pardoned of his felony charges, left office and immediately started a meme coin. Now, meme coins in and of themselves are already mostly a scam. But if you start selling a meme coin and immediately withdraw all the money you get from it, that's a clear scam. I believe they call that a rug pull. That's how the Hawktua girl got indicted. Or maybe hers was a pump and dump. Skeptical people would not buy currency from the Hawktua girl, nor would they buy currency from a disgraced federally indicted former mayor. Only credulous people do that. They are the kind of people who post that Facebook is going to own our photos tomorrow without looking into it, and therefore broadcast their own credulity. It is very hard for me to accept that there are people in this country who like Trump and can't see through him and accept all the horror without question. How is it possible? And how can I find any compassion for such people when their views and actions lead to such cruelty? And I think the answer for me may be credulity. They are being scammed by an incredible con artist and a system that props up scammers, and they just don't know it yet. Or if they do, they don't want to admit it because people who have been scammed rarely come forward due to the great shame they feel at having been duped. Scammers succeed by finding the most credulous people they can and then milking them for all they're worth. They'll sell them meme coins, gold phones, worthless degrees, or a vision of America. The people who bought those things aren't going to want to back down because they're not going to want to admit they were duped. But this was all a con, and sooner or later it will be obvious. It's obvious now to those of us with a healthy level of skepticism, but for the credulous, the wake-up call will likely be painful and expensive. I can find some compassion for the credulous and the scammed. I don't forgive them the cruelty that has been inflicted on my neighbors and other vulnerable people, but I do feel like I can understand how their credulity put them in the hands of some well-practiced scammers. For that, I feel some compassion for them. They're vulnerable to Nigerian princes and anyone else out to scam them. I did an image search for Nigerian prince when I was trying to find the right picture for this post. And most of them were actually genuinely men from Nigeria. So that wasn't what I was going for. So I ended up going with a photo of a cute dog wearing a crown and ermine coat. So he's clearly not a Nigerian prince. So what song will I have for you today? Well, I found some really interesting songs, none of which were easy or songs that I'd heard before. There were quite a few that were kind of big opuses, and there were 3 songs that I was kind of playing with, 2 of which I could not do at all, and one of which I took some time to figure out. It was complicated. I was not expecting that, but it was. But I will tell you, it was a fun, area of music to explore, like just searching for the word credulity or credulous or scam. I think I searched for something else too. I can't remember now, but the songs that I didn't go with, which I feel I would like to tell you about so that you can enjoy them. One was like a kind of novelty song. I think it's by like a label, not necessarily a person. And it was called Nigerian Prince. And, it's a very like classic novelty song. It felt like it was like the style that we used to have a lot of like in the 80s that were on the radio. Because like thematic of the moment, but of course the moment was a while ago when they first started pitching the Nigerian Prince. Anyway, it's a good time. I don't even remember. I think it's called like Retro something. I don't remember the name of the group, but they're on YouTube. And then the other song that I was thinking about was like a punk song by a punk band from Liverpool. They're a band called Benny Profane, which apparently is a character in a Thomas Pynchon novel. And this was a band that I think had like 5 years, it sounds like, of being together. I want to say 1985 to 1990. Anyway, they have a song called Credulous as Hell, which is delightful. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Punk is not my genre, as you may already understand. But I really like this particular song. I couldn't figure out half of the lyrics because, it's like an obscure punk song from the mid to late 80s. So, nobody was writing out that on lyrics.net or whatever. So trying to work out, I was doing it old school, where like you stop and start the recording to try and work out what they're saying. And there was a lot of mystery in that. So if you're looking for some fun punk, I recommend Credulous as Hell. It's good fun. And then I ended up with a song by a band called Thesaurus Rex. I mean, And I really thought, this is going to be the most obscure of these three that I was looking at. And it turns out to be the most popular. Thesaurus Rex is actually seemingly doing pretty good. They have like an actual website. I could find their chords on the internet and their lyrics. So they are doing better than Benny Profane, I will say. So I'm going to play that for you in just a moment. It is called Scam Song. And meanwhile, I thank you so much for listening. If you like this podcast, please tell someone about it. Like, review, subscribe, put all the stars in. Anywhere you can find a place to put stars, just put all of them. And if you'd like to support this podcast with money, that would be amazing and so helpful. Patreon.com/Emily R. Davis is the hotspot, but there's also Ko-fi, there's PayPal. You can do a paid subscription on Substack, wherever you're at. I'm happy to join there. If you have a different place, let me know about it. And most of all, I thank you for listening. Your support with your attention is also, it's actually the top thing, the main thing, and I am grateful. So I shall give to you now the more challenging than expected Scam Song. I took a personality test. I lied every answer just to impress some half-wit recruiter I've never met, to be a commuter paying my debt to con men who preyed on me as a child. They sold me a future, flashed me a smile. I can't be mad, that's part of the plan. You can't hate the scammer, just hate the scam. Can't be sustained, the incentives are fucked. If you want some small change, it'll cost you $1. Guess you're shit out of luck. Now my doctor did a number on me. That number came in the form of a fee. $8,000 to take a cup of my blood, to tell me I'm fine and put me on drugs. But I know what's up, I don't take those pills, 'cause pain ain't the only thing that they kill. Half of my class is dead in a box, and I know what's up, it's the price of your stocks. This can't be sustained, the incentives are fucked. If you want some small change, it'll cost you $1. Guess you're shit out of luck. Tape on my mouth. If you know Throw the dirt, get your head in the sand. Ain't no way out. You can sit on the board if you lie on the stand. Tape on my mouth. Don't tell no lies, but don't say no facts. Ain't no way out, 'cause if you fuck the system, it fucks you back. This can't be sustained. The incentives are fucked. If you want some small change, it'll cost you $1. If you want some